Hi, and happy Canada Day. It's our 150. Yes, Canada is getting very old. Not really. It's still a pretty young country. We still have a lot of things to work out. And that is the point of my video today. I'm a proud Canadian. Uh, Today I'm going to get into one of the things that fails our society, which fails our young people, doesn't protect our society, in my opinion. Now, before I begin my tale, I will start off by telling you I was the victim. And I had the guilty party charged, and he pleaded guilty to the charges. So, and was sentenced in the court of law here in Canada. So, I can and will speak about it. I won't hold anything back. Not going to protect him. Shouldn't have to. I was never given a gag order, nor would I ever agree to one. Part of healing is talking about it and being upfront, and part of learning of this story is how hollow, in a way, I feel. Hollow because justice, in my opinion, was not served very well. And yeah. Anyway, let's just get into it, shall we? When I was a kid of 8 years old, skinny kid, picked on by my other classmates. I mean, scrawny little redhead. I maybe weighed like 60 pounds at the time when I started. I was really skinny, tiny, small for my age even. This journey started and takes place over a 6-year-long molestation story because of a married, successful businessman named Leo Hardy of the Northwest Territories. He was part owner of Norwell, which was the general store and a few of the bars and businesses in Norman Wells, including the work camps that were there for Esso. He was a prominent member of the Métis and Dene Association at the time, when I had him charged at least. Very successful for the North. He was doing quite well. Extended to his family, who was also his partners. And to continue, I bring my case up as a failure of Canadian law and disgrace because this man got 6 months for the 6 years of touching me, making me kiss him and touch him, feeling his penis against me, and his mouth and tongue on parts of me that shouldn't be reserved for those that are consenting adults. Anyway, he got 6 months, and which means that he served probably 2 to 3 months. Does that seem right? I was a child. Yes, I was an adult by the time I had him charged. What can I say? It was a small town and I needed to get away. And once I did, and it came out to my parents, and then a very violent moment in my life, I decided I had to heal. I had to fix what was broken in me from this man. I sought help and well, first I felt the next day after that instance, I phoned the police, this Calgary City Police. Incidentally, my first charges against Leo Hardy, that file was lost in communication between Calgary City Police and the RCMP officers. It wasn't until I called the RCMP officers in Calgary and asked about it, or was it to Norman Wells? Anyway, I can't remember. Some of it I've blacked out because of it's a very emotionally charged thing for me. Anyway, it turned out they had lost the original file from the Calgary police to the RCMP, and those charges being filed. Really? Was it because he was a prominent businessman in the territories? I wonder. Sometimes I really do. Anyway, they said they were glad I called and had to refile, re-give a new statement, which was very awkward, was very painful. And of course, they sent a male RCMP officer to take my statement, who was a very large man. I can't remember his name because, like I said, too emotionally charged, and having to talk about it, I completely zone out. Even though I may talk in detail what's going on, half of me is displaced. I zone out. I don't want to remember these moments. So I kind of go off into self-protection, I guess you could say. A special room for myself. Anyway, he probably served 2 to 3 months. What currently scares me about this situation is he may no longer have to register as a sex offender. I don't know for sure if he still has to or not. Here in Canada, the minimum is 10 years for a sex offender. 10 years, and a person can no longer register as a sex offender. Even though he was charged, and it may be for a molestation of a child, he may only be viewed as a potential threat to the community for 10 years once he's back integrated into it. I think that's wrong. I don't know if Leo only had to register for 10 years. I don't get to ask. I don't get to ask the RCMP if he still has to register as a sex offender. I can't even guess if he is or not. My suspicion is no, he's no longer registered. However, that part of a person, that evil, doesn't change as far as I'm concerned. From my understanding, he currently has regained a lot of his standing in the North. We all have the right to progress in life and succeed. But I have to tell you, this experience has damaged me. It took so much from me. I suffer from PTSD to this day. When I was younger, I couldn't be touched without kicking or hitting in response. I still, to this day, cannot be touched in certain ways. Or if somebody just has certain mannerisms, set me off really bad. To this day, I still cannot date older men. It makes me very uncomfortable. Very. And he is why. Same with men with, the hard, bulging stomach. Nope. Not for me. From my understanding, he has a right to be successful and whatnot, but it also says to me some people have forgotten who and what Leo Hardy is. And he's a child molester. He's a predator. And that should never be forgotten. That should not go unchecked. I had so much self-hate for those years, you can hardly find pictures of me because I destroyed them. I couldn't stand looking at myself in pictures. I hated everything that I saw. I couldn't see a pretty little girl. I didn't. I saw something ugly and hateful. Something to be destroyed. And Leo Hardy pretty closely did that. Because there were moments I was suicidal even as a child. Even when I can remember wanting to die multiple times. Playing hooky. That should have been a good sign that something was wrong. My parents, but they thought it was the death of a friend of mine that happened also when I was 8. That they thought was what traumatized me. Yeah, it did. But also Leo in my life. Anyway, after finally deciding, I looked for help and got some, and when I truly crashed and have wanted more because a part of me was stolen, robbed, raped. The system didn't punish Leo Hardy anywhere equally to the damage, the pain he had created, not just in me, but my father, my mother, my brother who witnessed some of it, my relationships, and my children. There is a huge ripple effect that will go on throughout my life and has touched even my daughters as they grow up with a moody parent who, at times in her life, has been suicidal, murderous even. I truly want to heal and feel there was justice for what happened to me. But the justice system here failed. 6 months for 6 years of pain, the fear, the self-doubt, and hatred. Leo Hardy got 6 months, served less. When the RCMP officer called me to tell me the verdict, I nearly threw up. I actually had to call the phone call short because I was running to the toilet. I was so upset. 6 months. My life was worth 6 months. A child's life was worth 6 months. They may say, oh, well, he didn't kill you. No, he killed the girl that I was. He did kill her. He destroyed what she would have been. He changed her into something else. And not all of it was good. I tried to ask if Leo was still registered as a sex offender. I called up the RCMP in the Northwest Territories, and they refused to give me that information. I think it's my right to know if he does. So I know that he's still receiving some sort of punishment for the pain he caused me, for the scars he left me with, for the ripple effect to everybody who knows me. Our Canadian system is severely broken when a child's life is worth 6 months. And that's what it is, plain and simple. He destroyed a little girl. She may be still existing, but she was a shell. It was just a moving body for a long time. I cannot say if there were other victims of Leo Hardy before me or since me. When I look back at how he touched me, how he played with me, well, being first and only doesn't feel like truth to me, to be honest. I don't believe that myself. I could be wrong. But it should be a warning to others. I hold no ill against Leo Hardy's family and business associates. They should, however, never forget that Leo Hardy is a predator of children, that he molested an 8-year-old little girl that weighed about 60 pounds at the time. That part of who Leo Hardy is didn't disappear, didn't change. That damaging, sick person is still part of the whole man, if you can call him that. Our dear Canadian legal system slapped him with 6 months and left me hollowed out. Justice wasn't served. Justice didn't happen for me. It was a slap. He pleaded guilty, so he got a reduced sentence. It served maybe 2 or 3 months. I don't know for sure. They don't really tell you here when somebody gets out of prison. Probably didn't want to tell me, because it was. I wish I had a picture of myself at 8, so you could see what I looked like. There were no breasts, there were no curves, I had short, scraggly red hair. Almost about this length. Anyway. I'm glad I physically changed, because I probably would still hate myself viciously if I still looked like that little girl. Because I can't love that little girl. Because for some reason, a very sick man wanted to touch that little girl and destroy her. Change her, and he did. Happy Canada Day. Happy 100th birthday. 150th birthday. Best wishes to everyone, and for those who can fight for a truly successful and thriving social community here in Canada, please do, and use my story. I'd be proud to help influence a change. Thank you.